Father, this was our room, your cell it was. Everything. The church has burned down completely. Everything was burned to the ground, to nothing.
Ukraine continues to hold firm in Vovchansk, despite Russia's ongoing attempts to carve out a so-called sanitary corridor along the border. Russian forces have pushed wave after wave of assaults toward the town, hoping to create enough pressure to force Ukrainian units back, yet the defensive line has remained intact. Ukrainian troops positioned inside and around Vovchansk have shown consistent discipline, using drones, rapid reaction fire teams, and well-prepared firing positions to blunt every new approach. In the latest development, another Russian position in the area was completely neutralized after Ukrainian reconnaissance identified a concentration of troops preparing for a renewed push. A precision strike dismantled the position before it could be used for staging, denying Russian commanders the foothold they were counting on. The loss further complicates Russia's efforts to expand control in the northern Kharkiv region and exposes the weaknesses in an offensive that has so far failed to achieve its strategic goals. For Ukraine, the ability to not only hold Vovchansk, but also strike back effectively underscores the resilience of its defenses. Each disrupted Russian position reduces the momentum behind the sanitary corridor plan and buys Kiev more space to stabilize the sector, redeploy resources, and maintain pressure on Russian formations operating along the border.
Here's a temple.
Father, this was our room, your cell it was. Everything. The church has burned down completely. Everything was burned to the ground, to nothing. It all burned down to nothing, so absolutely nothing remained.
Can't tell, huh?
After a Ukrainian droid TW-12.7 ground drone ambushed a Russian armored personnel carrier, the forest strip near the site was left scattered with the bodies of Russian soldiers. This was shown in footage from a drone of the 5th Separate Assault Brigade that surveyed the ambush site. The ambush was executed after receiving information about possible routes Russian assault units would take at night. Ukrainian troops quickly drove an SUV to the designated route, unloaded the ground drone, and sent it toward the enemy group. The ground drone droid TW-12.7 from DevDroid was chosen for the operation, having been codified by the Ukrainian Armed Forces in 2024. A Browning 12.7 heavy machine gun with 300 rounds was mounted on the drone's tracked platform. Optoelectronic systems with a thermal imager provide targeting. The droid TW-12.7's mobility in difficult terrain is enabled by its tracked platform, with a range of up to 15 kilometers. The drone reached the ambush site and waited for the Russian MTLB armored personnel carrier carrying infantry. The ground drone opened fire on the front of the vehicle, damaging the control system, after which the MTLB began moving uncontrollably. The droid TW-12.7 then turned and fired at the armored personnel carrier's troop compartment. After the battle, reconnaissance UAVs surveyed the area and located the MTLB and the bodies of Russian troops in the forest strip. Belarusian special services are preparing a false flag operation using Lithuanian citizens. This was reported by the Department of State Security of Lithuania. According to the department, in recent weeks, unknown persons posing as Lithuanian intelligence officers have been offering citizens earnings on Telegram in exchange for an alleged intelligence mission to travel to Belarus. After arriving there, Lithuanians are offered to launch a balloon with smuggled cargo in the direction of Lithuania. Vilnius emphasizes that in this way, the Belarusian regime is trying to create the impression that Lithuanian intelligence itself organizes and initiates a hybrid attack that has been going on for over a month. Citizens who fall for such offers on social media run the risk of becoming tools of Minsk's propaganda. Those who decide to travel to Belarus face a danger to their health and freedom. They may be detained and put on trial by the Belarusian KGB. Lithuanian intelligence urges not to succumb to such provocations and not to engage in activities in the interests of a foreign state, which carry severe criminal liability. Recently, it was reported that the Lithuanian government has declared a state of emergency throughout the country due to the massive launch of smuggled weather probes from Belarus. These devices create obstacles for civil aviation and have already led to the shutdown of Vilnius airport several times, causing financial and reputational damage. The introduction of the state of emergency allows government agencies to coordinate actions and involve military units more quickly. The government plans to reconsider the issue of extending the regime in a month. Belarus, in response, claims that drones were allegedly launched from the territory of Lithuania. In particular, on December 2nd, it was reported that a drone had crashed on Belarusian territory, which Minsk claimed was of Lithuanian origin and marked with white, red, and white flags. Official Minsk demanded that Lithuania provide detailed information, conduct an investigation, bring the perpetrators to justice, and prevent the recurrence of such incidents. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Belarus summoned Charge d'Affaires of Lithuania, Erikas Vilkanekas, and handed him an official protest. Zelensky confirmed Ukraine is hitting back at Russia's energy infrastructure in response to ongoing attacks, but said Kiev is open to an energy ceasefire if Moscow is ready to stop. He also mentioned the use of Ukrainian missiles like Long Neptune, Palyanitsia, Flamingo, and Sapsan, adding with a smile, "Let the enemy keep thinking it's Neptune." Responding to Zelensky's call for an energy ceasefire, Kremlin spokesman Peskov cynically replied, "We are working on peace in Ukraine, not a ceasefire." This, as Russia continues bombing Ukraine's energy grid daily.
Also, based on one of Zelensky's recent statements, he declared that Ukraine is prepared for an energy truce. Russia, on the other hand, had proposed halting attacks on energy infrastructure already last summer. However, at that time, Zelensky himself rejected this very proposal, deeming it untimely. Would such a truce be timely for Russia now? How does Moscow assess such a re-evaluation from Kiev? Do we have any grounds to agree to this truce?
For now, I'll set aside some of the nuances, but we are working for peace, not a ceasefire. A sustainable, guaranteed, and long-term peace achieved by signing the appropriate documents is our absolute priority.
Trump told Politico Ukraine should hold elections. It's been too long, things aren't going well, it's time. He called Russia the stronger side in talks, saying it's a much bigger country.
Your team has been going back and forth between Putin and Zelensky with various drafts of a peace deal. Which country right now is in the stronger negotiating position?
Well, there can be no question about it. It's Russia. It's a much bigger country. It's a war that should have never happened. Frankly, it wouldn't have happened if I were president, and it didn't happen for 4 years. I watched that taking place, and I said, wow, they're going to cause some problems here. And it started, and it could have evolved into World War III, frankly. I think it's probably not going to be happening now. I think if I weren't president, you could have had World War III. I think you would have had a much bigger problem than you have right now. But right now, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for Europe, and they're not handling it well.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.